Hi everyone, Rabbi Rosen here. Thank you for spending a few moments with me as we prepare for Shabbat and have the opportunity to reflect upon this week's Torah portion of Chayei Sarah. Very sadly, Sarah leaves the scene of history and passes away, whereupon Abraham is called upon to find a proper and eternal burial place for her and ultimately the rest of the family. We see in the description of the very beginning of the portion something quite interesting describing Sarah's life. We are told, and Sarah lived 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. Why not simply say that Sarah lived 127 years? And the Midrash picks up on this, as it is wont to do, and tells us that when Sarah was 20, she retained the innocence of a 7-year-old, and when she was 100, she retained the beauty of a 20-year-old. That's quite an accomplishment. But at the same time, I think we might look at this in a slightly different way. Chayei Sarah, literally the lives of Sarah. That's what Hebrew grammar does. It simply gives us that kind of form. But if we are to look at it carefully, we might well imagine the lesson that can emerge. All of us have really more than one life. Who we are as teenagers is very different than when we are infants or young children. The same thing for who we are when we are approaching middle age, different than what we are when we are in our 20s. And clearly, when we attain, God willing, older age, very different than all of the stages that come before us. Literally, the changes of our lives become new lives unto themselves. Our priorities, our needs, our hopes, our concerns are all very different depending upon the age in which we find ourselves. And to occupy that space, to inhabit that reality, is a mark of our hopefully growing maturity in every possible way. There might well be a link, though, between all of the lives we lead in the course of our existence, and that is the striving for certain key values, certain key attainments that are of character and of soul. Pablo Casals, the great cellist, was once asked why in his 80s did he continue to practice 4 hours a day. And he said very simply, I think I'm sensing improvement. All of us can strive throughout our lives for the wonderful enveloping link of chesed, which is so much a part of our reading this week, of loving kindness, of a sense of patience and of care and of growth and of love. All of the kinds of things that when we look back on a life, say, yes, this is what made my lives, all of them, worth living. I never stopped striving for the things that mattered the most. I hope all of us will attain the wonderful privilege of multiple lives in this way, and that we will link them together, as Sarah did, with a sense of having the embrace of the values that will live on long after us. Thank you for your time, everyone, and wishing you, as always, Shabbat Shalom and all the very best.